Congratulations. You are dead. Oh, don't give me that look. It was bound to happen at some point. You mortals are so fragile, after all. I slipped down the stairs, a random virus. Heck, some of you are killed by peanut butter. Your lives are so beautiful and yet so easily snuffed out. But guess what? Your death came at just the right time. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another solo Tabletop Wednesday. This funky music is very loud in my ears, so calm it down for myself for sure. So yes, welcome. If you can't tell from our overlays going on here, today's game is Become Death. So this is a fun, short tabletop RPG that I found. Let me get all my stuff here. So this is by Avery Fisher. And I found it on itch, which if you drop in, for those who are watching live here on Twitch, if you do Become Death as the command code, it will bring a direct link to the itch page where you can find this game for yourself. So if you want to keep it all surprised, you're like, ooh, I want to play this, make sure you go there, and then you can always come back and watch me, whether it's the VOD here on Twitch or later on YouTube, or, you know, wherever. And then for those who are watching on YouTube, the link will be in the description down below. So if you can't tell from our little intro here, which that was a paragraph directly from the PDF here, this game does have themes of death, so I will read the trigger warning page here. So a quick trigger warning for people playing this game. This game involves dealing with and talking about death. Not all deaths are peaceful, some are violent, some are horrific, some are tragic. This game is meant to help you explore the concepts and ideas around death, the afterlife, and finding peace with the end of existence. Please make sure to take your time at this game, take breaks, listen to music, hug a family member, pet your cat, or drink some water. I have coffee to my side here. And remember that this is just a game. So just as a disclaimer as we go into this, so if at any point, if any of the prompts may be causing an issue for you, if you have to step away, please do so. If I have to step away for any reason, I do have a break thing but I'm pretty confident I should be okay. But that's the trigger warning and disclaimers there. So before we jump right into the role play and play, I do like to talk a little bit about how the PDF and stuff, since the audience can't see it, but I can. It's a very clean artwork, a very clean layout. It's black and white with like splotches of yellow, so I like the minimalism of it. I also like the typeface. There's some width differences in typeface, and for my easily wandering eyes, it makes it a little easy actually for me to focus in for those big titles. And the PDF is 16 pages long, so it is a short PDF. And as I said, the playtime's roughly an hour, depending on how we interact with the prompts. And I think that's it. So otherwise, for tools that we'll be using, we have a deck of playing cards, which I pre-shuffled, and jokers removed. I have a D12, which may be hard to see because it's gray and smoky, but I got a D12 there. A journal, which y'all are witnessing the live journaling, so maybe I'll write something down, but for the most part, this is the journal. This live stream is the journal for me. A quiet piece of void to contemplate existence with. I feel very much in a void. I'm in a basement. What greater void is there? All right. So, oh yeah, and tea is optional. I have coffee. So with that, there is more in this beginning here that I did not read. So from that last line, but guess what? Your death has come at just the right time. Well, the right time for me. You're going to be taking over for me as the embodiment of death. I filled my quota of souls, and I found inner peace with my death, so now it's your turn. Don't worry, becoming death really isn't that hard. You wear a cool robe. Let me put up my hood. Okay, cool robe. Whoa. Makes me feel more like a Sith, but okay. You guide souls to their chosen afterlife. You make some entries in a journal, and you learn a bit about yourself. Once you've met your quota, you can get passed on. You get to pass on the mantle to someone else and enjoy your internal rest. Just remember, this journey ends when you've made your peace with your fate and met your quota of souls. Now, if you'll excuse me, there is a breach in the afterlife, or there is a beach in the afterlife that I've had my eye on for the past 300 years. See ya. All right. So that was the rest of the intro. And I suppose we need to know how to play, don't we? We have our tools. So let us read how we want to play here. So Become Death is a solo RPG where you take on the role of Death. So we are Death now. Once you've gathered the materials listed above, which I have here, find a cozy place in the void to call home and get started. Well, my basement is my void and always been my home. So there you go. So to begin, first let me take a sip of coffee. Very good coffee. I make excellent coffee. So we start by drawing a card from the deck. So I like shuffling. I'm just going to shuffle again. I know I said I did earlier, but I like shuffling. There you go. And this deck is a Tim Burton deck that I've had for many years. Someone gave it to me. So we're playing with this one. So we get to draw from the deck in our journal, write a response to the prompt associated with the card in the table below. So in the further down pages. If you draw repeat questions, feel free to either answer it a different way or discard it and draw a new card. You can always discard a prompt if you do not wish to engage with that subject. Then when we finish answering a question, we roll our die. That is the percentage of soul quota that I filled while finding the answers to your question. Write the percentage in the bottom of the page after answering the question. So luckily I do have written materials in front of me. I always have papers and pencils of some kind. So I'll make sure to keep track of that. And then once you've reached 100% of your quota, or run out of cards to draw, you're ready to answer the final prompt at the end. After that, the game ends and you pass to the other side, to the next phase of existence. Also want to note there's like a really cute yellow symbol beside the page number. It's like a little skull. I love little elements like that because I'm having worked graphic design and arts. I love elements like that. Of the little things. I appreciate it. All right. So let's get down to business. I am freshly dead. How I died, I don't know. But I'm here helping souls. I've taken over the role. Roll up my sleeves. And let's draw a card. So we drew. Get in frame here. The Two of Diamonds. All right, Two of Diamonds. So let me go through our tables here and see what we have. Okay, so mechanic-wise, it looks like the prompts are split up into two groups. There's the black cards and the red cards, so that's interesting. All right, found it. So Two of Diamonds. Life is not always fair. And one such example is that there is some who seem to only experience tragedy throughout their existence. One soul in particular faced oppression, war, hunger, and death in a very short life. How do you give meaning to a life that didn't get to experience joy? Interesting. Interesting. Well, this does make you think of how to approach this in a meaningful way. Meaning to a life that didn't get to experience joy. Yes, some of the prompts are very heavy indeed. So as death, who must shepherd these souls. Well, being here, we know that there is more beyond our existence. That there is other threads of fate out in the existence of whatever cosmic space and void this may be. Maybe we are just floating in the black void of space. Who knows? It could be a thing, it could not be a thing, it could very well be just where we end up as our own physical bodies are made of whatever cosmic stardust that came to create life. It's hard, because life is indeed not fair. And to experience all that and find yourself here, it can be hard to accept that too. Maybe some people wanted to reach this space. Maybe some people still had a lot of fight in them. And I think it's that fight, that spirit of continuing to try and go forward. Because that is very much a human aspect of us, is even when all the odds are insurmountable against us, we still try and fight for even the smallest bit of what can bring us joy. It can be as simple as just feeling running water on your feet, or a cool breeze on your face, having laughter with a friend. Maybe there's nothing too extravagant or magnificent or what feels like a noteworthy aspect of life that has happened, but there are little things, maybe little things you forgot that brought you joy, that you kind of set aside because the pain has been so much greater. And I think this is how I speak with this soul, this one soul in particular. Talking with them, seeing what threads that are lingering inside them, that even amongst all the hardship, there was those little sparks that they can use as comfort. All right. This is why we had the disclaimer at the beginning of this. Yeah. That got cocked in the middle, but we're going with 2%. So 2% of souls came through. All right. Whew. Whew. I'll do a discard pile. I know you can draw the prompts again, but I'll do a discard pile. All right. Let me do another shuffle because I like shuffling. Okay. I'm such a fidgeter. All right. All right. Ace of Hearts. Someone who made me miserable, or made my life miserable, with every interaction has finally passed on to the next life. They don't recognize me. What do I feel now that they have reached their end? And what do you say to them as you shepherd them to the next phase of existence? My immediate first thought was, why did I go first? Like, what the hell? Why did I go first? So now I'm the one having to do this job of being a shepherd of death, and what? I'm sipping my death coffee. But as much as that was the immediate thought, you know, as the previous one who shredded their mantle on to me, whatever, we're all dead. I just have a job now. As much as I wanted to escape work. God, not even in death can I escape work. And I don't even know if there even is much of a point to say anything to them, especially if they don't recognize me. So I think for myself, I'll just let it go. I don't know how long I'll be in this space before I get to move on. But I hope if I do a good job, I'll get the best choice of where I want to go. They just go where they're directed, wherever their soul is pulled to. So I just welcome them to the death void and usher them on their way. Yeah. 9. So we're at 11% quota. All right. Ah. King of Spades. There we go. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, disclaimer again, back to disclaimer, not just death, but now we got a prompt related to religious aspect. So I'll be throwing out the disclaimers as they come up. So if you need to step away, you can step away. So as I sit here am I at a gate? Am I at a door? Maybe my place is just like very simple podium, kind of desk-like podium. Because I have the book to fill out. And yeah, there's like just sort of this void of darkness and a little shimmering gate that sort of creaks open and closed as people come through. And as I sit here, a religious person has passed on and is shocked to find that the afterlife does not match what their religion promised them. Still, they move on to the next phase of existence. What do you expect the afterlife to be? Where did you plan on going when you died? So this is interesting. This can get very, very philosophical. maybe I'll get a little personal here, but I'd say, I'm agnostic. I was never a fully religious person. I've interacted with religion. I've had friends that were Christian and I went to church with them, or have done like youth camps, like Christian youth camps with them, because my parents thought it was important that I at least had a learning of religion, even if I don't actually become a part of it or follow it. Of course, there's the dabbling as a teenager through like Wicca and witchcraft, which I still hold some of those threads. I think what I expected the afterlife to be was more of, I guess, kind of everything getting wiped. I know on a scientific level, as we enter those last breaths, our brains kind of cycle through those memories. We get those flashes. And I guess I never really, outside of maybe a reincarnation of that, maybe whatever memory that carries on, even if it's just in DNA or through some other means, just that continued consciousness ends up somewhere. And where did I plan on going when I died? As I mentioned, reincarnation seems interesting. I could be a completely new life, a new individual, whether human, animal, plant, maybe on a completely different planal existence, maybe a different time, maybe a completely different multiverse. Who knows? Maybe it could be interesting being jettisoned into another multiverse and experiencing that life, though. The connection would be there, so I'd have no memory of this one. Interesting thoughts. This is getting very deep. All right, let's see how many quota I got. Another 9. So we're at 20%. A sip of coffee. Put that aside. Ooh, the Queen of Spades. All right. The music a bit more for y'all. It is said that love is more powerful than death. A laughable notion now that you are the physical embodiment of death. That said, I had many loved ones in my previous life. Which loved ones do you still keep a close eye on now that I'm dead? How do you let them know you are still with them in spirit? Oh, this is an interesting one too. I know there are certain friends that I would definitely want to keep an eye on, or to make sure that they're okay. It is a thing of mine where it would be hard to be the first one to go, because I would hate to know what hurt that may carry on from that. So I'd want to make sure that, my loved ones, of course, have every valid emotion about my death, but I would just make colors seem brighter to them if they ever see artwork or a rainbow or, anything that's creative. I don't think I want anyone to feel like they have to be honorific in any way. I myself, as I said, not religious really, so even I would hope that if there is a funeral, it is more of a celebration of what I have done, what I brought to the world, what everyone will remember me as. I don't want it to be somber and dreadful and bleh. So I'd make sure as a spirit, when I'm not working on shepherding souls over and can take a break and visit my loved ones, I'd just bring a bit of happiness. And when Halloween comes around, I'll make it extra spooky because that was one of my favorite holidays. So gotta make it extra spooky. Maybe for the couple of friends I have that do want to talk to spirits, I'll try and reach out and be like, hey, it's legit. Let's go. I could get in trouble for that, though. I don't know how being death and doing that works. All right. I may have to shuffle again. Jack of Spades. Oh, wait, hold on. Before we answer that one, we gotta fill our quota. Yeah. I got a 5. 25%. We're a quarter way there. Probably been a couple decades. All right. Spades. Jack of Spades. So, a particularly noble soul has crossed over. They lived a good life and tried their best to make the lives of others better. They are saddened by their passing, but proud of the work they've accomplished. They ask me, what were you proud of in your previous life? It's an interesting lens to consider. If I were to try and pinpoint something, probably in all those moments of helping others. Like, I really enjoyed my time when I was tutoring in college. I had a tutoring job and I enjoyed my time there. I loved in classes where I'd sit down with my classmates and would be helping them figure out the assignments or giving them feedback if they weren't too sure about if their piece was really nailed down or if they were struggling with something. Me being a quiet person and limited on my reachings. Yeah. Because it's hard to not feel like you could have done a whole lot more, especially if the circumstances leaned more in your favor, but of what I could control and what I could do. Yeah. Probably all the times I was able to work with and pass on my knowledge and help others develop their skills along with my own. It was never just like bringing people along. We always helped each other grow better. Uh, 2%. I'm gonna shuffle these because that was a lot of spades in a row. All right. All right. If the next one's a spade, I'm going to question the universe. Yeah. All right. 5 of hearts. Oh. Okay. We have all done things that have caused harm to others, or that were less than noble. Some of those things are we have forgiven ourselves of, others we hold on to. What things in life did you forgive yourself of? What are you still holding against yourself. I mean, there's always the little kid things like sneak. I remember very vividly these like gummy mint candies. They would shape like little mint leaves and they're green. And, you know, Dad having them in like a glass container of some sort, and they're out in reachable, you know, extent. I'd always sneak them. I was always bad for sneaking candy and treats. But you know, when you're 5, 6, 7, kind of that age range up to 10. I don't know if my brain could be blanking out anything tremendously egregious. I don't think, no, I've never done anything way too bad. Yeah, and again, I think most things I remember are like, I'm a little kid and I want this thing, so I'm taking it. Still holding against myself. Against myself, that's where the anxiety comes in. Those moments where, oh, this could have been done so much better. Why did I say that? Why did I do it that way? Those are the thoughts where like it will be like I don't remember right now, but I'll remember in the middle of the night and it will keep me up for like another hour. Be like, like, or it's to extent that I haven't seen the person since that time. They're not in my life. We don't know each other. Yeah, my brain can't pull out anything like that. But I know at nighttime anxiety will like bop me in the face. Be like, hey, remember this? Bop. I think in terms of I'll say this, in waking life, in my waking consciousness, the things that I can recall, I've, for the most part, totally got over myself with, you know, it's happened, it's a thing, it's in the past. Anything that I'm still holding against myself for, mostly that I can recall, they're minor things, and they only like bubble up in moments. They're not things of forever plaguing the back of my head. Okay, let's see what percentage. 3. So we're at 30% quota. All right. Wow. 4 of hearts. A particularly challenging soul has come to give me, or has, it helps if I read words correctly. A particularly challenging soul has been given to you to guide to the next existence. They were afraid of death in life. Were you afraid of death? What steps did you take to embrace or resist the inevitability of death? Was I afraid? Yeah, I think so. I'm still relatively young. You know, I'm only in my 30s. There's still a lot of things I would love to do or wanted to do. I guess since I'm dead, so wanted to do. A lot of things I wanted to experience. In a way, there's some regrets, but nothing that, you know, is soul crushing. As I am dead, I'm probably building that like art / game studio I've always wanted, having that freelance life achieved proper, because gosh, is it hard. I'm probably more afraid of what I left behind than I am of maybe death itself. And to embrace or resist the inevitability. I think the steps. I guess it depends on how I died. If I knew I was going to die soon, I'd be doing things to make sure that my loved ones are okay. If it was sudden, that's a little harder to do. But I think as once I am dead and now that I'm here working, kind of just let everything drift on, and I'll be here for when each individual of my past life has to come through themselves. Whether they'll remember me as I am, if they'll recognize me, I should say. It may hurt if they don't, but I think what helps me accept it is just and embrace it is that we will drift on into the next existence of whatever that is. And that I'm currently here now seeing and will be bearing witness to all those that come after me. I think that's where this may be jumping to the conclusion, but maybe that's when I will start finding my peace, is when I've seen the loved ones of my life pass on through, and I know that they're okay now, and I got to see them come through and shepherd them through personally. Ooh, we're rolling a lot of 9s. 39%. All right. Ah. Okay, seriously? First, it was King, Queen, Jack. Now it's 5, 4, 3. I'm gonna have to shuffle the deck again. All right, 3. Some people live for something. Others are willing to die for something. What were you willing to die for in your life? Did you ever have to answer that call? Looking back, would you have actually died for this thing? I don't think there's too many things in life, but there are people. There's definitely people that I would do whatever I could to make sure they live. I know I wouldn't go to war. I would try and debate down fights or avoid fights when possible. But if there was ever a loved one, if there was ever, like pets, I will defend my cat. Yeah, if anyone tried to do anything to them, I would step up. I didn't have to answer that call at any point. Maybe the minor defend against a jerk, but nothing life-threatening. Yeah, think that's the most I'll say to that. So let us roll the quota. 5. 44%. All right. Let me give this another shuffle. All right. Shuffling complete. Yeah. 4 of diamonds. So this is a repeat question that a particularly challenging soul has been given to me to guide to the next life. Was I afraid of death? Would there be another way I could answer this? I don't know. I think with time, especially as you get older, if I was younger, definitely. But as I get older, kind of entering this understanding of we're not forever young, so to speak. We're not in, a long-term existence. We start realizing just how fast lives go by. And even as humans, as our lives are through medical and scientific discovery, we've been extending our lives to a certain point. And some still are in a pursuit of, that philosopher's stone sort of fountain of youth. Which I've considered that aspect. I don't know if this might be another prompt, but like if we were to live forever, I don't know if I would want to. Like younger, I thought, it'd be cool to be an elf with thousands of years of life or whatever. But then as a human with a very short amount of time where I am grown and capable before I age and start losing those capabilities. What have I done in that sort of short lifespan in making life worthwhile for me? So, yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily afraid of death. It's more of just the other things where that anxious brain once again comes in because it's out of my control. Yeah. Well, with coffee, a 10. We jumped to over 50%. We're halfway there. Let's take a sip of coffee. Let's just take a moment. These are heavy subjects. Maybe you're considering them yourselves, thinking how you would react or answer these. All right. It's a 3. We've answered this already too, so I'm gonna pull until I get a new one. There we go. There's a new one. That's fast. 7. Many people experience a near-death experience in their life. You are one such person. What was your near-death experience? When did you have this experience? How did it shape the rest of your life? So here's real life stuff. I think I've only had really 2 in my 30 some odd years. Maybe 3, but 2 of them are related to roller coasters. Well, those 2. One was a standing coaster and one was a sitting, like a proper sit down one. But both of them were for the same reasons, where I nearly got flown out of the coaster. It wasn't like I wasn't the right size or anything, because they have those safeties. It's for the standing one, I was on the outside, but they didn't lock the thing all the way. Like I was trying to pull it in and it wasn't going all the way to keep me secure. So I was hanging on to that standing coaster for dear life. And then the other one where I was sitting, Same situation. It didn't lock down all the way, so I had a lot of gap where I could just slip out. And if my dad wasn't there and didn't put an arm around me to keep me down, I would have slipped right out. Oh, that would have been very scary. Those didn't change anything. I love roller coasters. I'd keep going, and now as a full-grown adult, well, I mean, I'm dead right now, but in the waking life of existence, keep going on coasters. Except for as I got older, the mild vertigo happens. So, yeah. Now, third instance. It wasn't so much me, though I was there and I could have been hit. But I was in a parking lot with my mom. And we noticed that just this pair sitting in a car. There was junk around them. Lots of stuff inside the car too. They were there when we went to go eat in the restaurant. And they were there when we were leaving. It was just like, okay, that's weird. And as we were walking, we heard a police siren like bleep, you know, like whoop whoop. I heard like rubber screeching and turned and saw this car like pull bat out of hell, like ramming other cars to get through the parking lot and coming straight at us. And my immediate thought was mom, because she was right there beside me, a couple steps back. And I just remember saying, like, you know, mom, move, and I was trying to like bring her forward. And whether it was my brain seeing it a lot closer than it actually was, I don't know. It felt like it was way too close to comfort for me, because this person just jetted through the parking lot and got out of there, like hitting a lot of cars along the way. And my fear was them hitting my mom. And I guess in terms of how that shaped me, well, it does make me anxious. And I mean, a lot of things make me anxious. I'm a naturally anxious person. It does make me worry of things when happening when I'm not around. But I mean, that's always a possibility of things happening when you're not around. And it can be scary to think about, but it's out of your control. All I know is that it makes me really, really mad when people make stupid decisions and can cause harm to other people because of it. So I get very jaded and have no sympathy when people make decisions that ends up hurting others. Yeah. I'd say that's how it kind of shaped the rest of my life, is made me a little more jaded. All right. Quota. 5. A lot of 5s and 9s tonight. We're at 59. Okay. Yeah. 10 of spades. Ah, there it is. Vacation day. Give an opportunity to relive one day of your life. Oh. What day did you relive? What, if anything, did you do differently? What did you do the same? Wow, so this kind of plays into the idea or effect of leaping through time to experience life again. That could create a paradox if we're on a multiverse situation here. A day I'd want to relive. Probably. One of the days during family vacation to the Dominican, we were on resort. And why I'd pick that is as with family. The resort was lovely. Food was accessible. There was a beautiful beach, and I love swimming. I love water. I was in oceans and pools basically the whole time. Little lizards. Comfortable weather. It was sunny. Not too hot. And I was a kid, so I didn't worry about a lot of things. Yeah. I think I would just enjoy those moments again of hanging out with my parents and my one brother that got to come with us, and put on more sunscreen would be the one difference, because I burnt like crazy because I'm super pasty white. So a lot more sunscreen. Maybe avoid because I had my hair braided and my scalp got burnt too, and that was the most uncomfortable thing in my life in terms of like sunburns. There's other comfortable things, but in terms of sunburns, that was the most uncomfortable sunburn I've ever had, is sunburned scalp. When you have hair that you have to wash. But nothing much else I would change. Maybe I just eat more. Forget about, having to worry about food. Just eat all the food. All right. Quota. Ooh, 12. So, I think that really jumped us out. We're at 59. A dish of brain. Let's go. So that makes 11. A 6. I think that if I math right, that's 71. Someone will probably correct me, but I believe that is 71. So that took us quite a jump. Okay. Next question. Prompt. 9 of hearts. Other way. There we go. We all have things we leave behind, tasks we never accomplished, places never visited. You were given the chance to complete one thing on your list of incomplete things. What task do you complete? What did you choose this thing? Why did you choose this thing to complete? Pausing because OBS told me something, but we're okay, I believe. And thank you for saying that. Yes, I did math right. It's 71. I think the one thing I had on my list, probably since maybe I was a tween, maybe even younger, was to do a hiking trip, like a backpacking trip through the UK and Europe, and do it like as the artist that I am. So I'd have like, a nice camera, my art supplies. Now you can have an iPad. Maybe I'd buy an iPad because I don't have one. But either way, I'd want to take this trip, and it would be a long adventure for sure, which is why I would pick it, because then I get more time. Time in life. But I've always wanted to do this trek to experience cultures across the way, because I'm from Canada, so it'd be nice to get outside of North America. Visit the extended family. I have extended family over in Wales. I've always been, even as a kid, I love Arthurian legend stuff. I love castles and knights, medieval, especially medieval fantasy. So I'd be visiting all the castles and being a lifelong forever artist, visiting those art museums, like going to France to the Louvre, visiting ancient cultural sites such as places in Rome and Italy, and Venice, appreciating the history making my drawing records of it all, painting on hillsides. Whole thing in my head of it, what kind of adventure that would be. All right, yeah. 374. Next card. 8 of Hearts. There are many people that preceded you into the afterlife. Who did you seek out during this time as death? How did you spend your time with them on this side of the mortal coil? Oh, man. Yeah. These are answers. I mean, there's always celebrities I could try and find, but I don't know them. So I'll focus more. I would focus more on people that I did know that moved on ahead of me. Especially if there was a relative that moved on before I was born, or if I was too young to remember them. So on my paternal side, I had my grandfather, who passed on even before my mom and dad got married. That's a funny story, actually. So even before my dad met my mom, my dad was with another woman and he was marrying her. And my dad's family did not like her. Apparently this woman, wasn't nice at all, but my dad loved her. And my grandfather told my dad that, because he was getting sick at the time, and he told my dad that, I hope I die before I see you get married. I know I'm laughing, it's a little morbid, but from what I know from like my aunts and uncles who speak of him and my own dad, a very much him thing to say, because he never held back how he felt. And turned out that the marriage didn't work out. It was not a good time. So dad divorced her, and then he met my mom, and then my brothers and I happened. So I'd probably want to meet my grandfather, my paternal grandfather. I'd also like to meet my paternal grandmother. I have like the vaguest memories of her, like being in her apartment, but I was really little when she passed on. And I'm always told that I look a lot like her, and that I have a similar spirit to her. My aunts, like especially the daughters, my dad's sisters, always make that comment. Especially my aunt, the youngest of my dad's siblings, she likes to bring it up all the time. So it'd be nice to be able to converse with them. So yeah, I would spend that time just talking to them, seeing what they can tell me of like my dad and his siblings growing up. And I know there's some interesting stories from what was told amongst my aunts and uncles, like living in a jailhouse. That was an interesting one, but that's a story for another time. Oh, quota 7. So we are at 81. We're at 81. All right. Yeah. 3 of spades. Oh, other way in my scroll. Whew. Disclaimer: war. A war has killed a large number of people. You are sending the souls to the afterlife. You have a moment to reflect on the fragility of life. What do you wish you had realized about life before you died? Interesting. I think in a way I've always seen the fragility. I am the youngest child of a father who is like one of the youngest kids, so I've seen quite a bit of death from even the time I was a kid. As I said, I have vaguest memories of my grandmother. I've had uncles who've passed away. My maternal grandparents passed away, and a lot of not necessarily near death, but like definitely the fight to live. And there's that one prompt that mentioned near death. One that it wasn't me near death, but one of my brothers who was fighting. I don't know if I want to get too deep into it in case this could be triggering for some people who are watching. But there was a moment he was in hospital. Everything was happening very fast, and we thought we were going to lose him. And that definitely shaped a lot of things since then. You know, trying to not take for granted the time that we have together. It is hard to think of that moment. That always brings me, like, the tears start coming when I think of it. But I think that is something of a realization that of life, of how fast it can just go. So it's so important that just you do what you can. Do what you can. Gonna drink some coffee. Okay. Quota. Whoop, that ran behind my coffee. A 12! Lex rolled a 12 when it's behind my coffee. Alright. That puts us at 93. I'm so close to my quota. Right. 6 of spades. Some forms of existence seem to be much more carefree than others. You've harvested the souls of countless animals and other forms of life. If you could live again, what form would you want to take? I say cat. Cats are my favorite cryptid. I said that to someone the other day. Cats are my favorite cryptid. Especially if you're like a cat that's well taken care of. Like, you meow, people go, aw. They feed you, they brush you, they pet you, they kiss you, they cuddle you, get you toys. You can be a brat and they're like, oh, what a silly kitty. So I do with my cat. She has all these nicknames. But I make, like, she has several boxes with like tea towels and stuff. She has a chair that has a blanket on it. It's like just basically her chair. No one else really sits there. Treats every Friday. She gets special treats every Friday. So I want to be a cat. I would pick being a cat, a house cat, because wildcats have to fight for things. I want to be a house cat. Maybe I'll crave the outdoors, but if my anxiety of life transfers over when I'm a cat, maybe that anxiety will keep me inside and safe. All right. Oh, that slipped out. Let's try that again. Yeah, there we go. Proper roll. 5. That puts us at 98. All right. Very close to meeting my quota. It's been centuries now. I've been at this for centuries. Okay. This potential last one. Jack of Diamonds. I'm on the wrong page for that. Scrolling, there we go. The nice thing about being an incorporeal spirit is that you can travel backwards and forwards in time. You are able to attend your own funeral. What ceremonies were performed for you? What did your loved ones say about you and your funeral? Okay, so yes, I guess that makes sense too. As we are dead, time has no meaning. Time, existence, it's all just void. First and foremost, no funeral for me. I find them sad and boring. So, if I go before anyone else in my life, or anyone else, it wouldn't be a funeral, it would just be cremate me. If someone goes on travels, take me with you, take some ash, toss me around. I don't care. I just don't want there to be a body. Unless, well, no. A body enough that my organs will be extracted, and if they're intact and healthy, they can be donated to help others, so that they may, medical. I dabbled with the idea of donating my body to science, or I missed out on it in art school, but for life drawing, there was a trip we could take to a place where they have bodies. They were donated bodies, permissions of the person who died and the family awareness were used for studies. And for this art class in particular, we had anatomy studies where we were studying bones and muscles, so you could in this place see how muscles interact in these cadavers. But I think I just want to be cremated. And it would be more of a sort of celebration as opposed to anything formal or ceremonial. Maybe people are looking at my artwork, reminiscing about, that kind of stuff. Maybe watching my YouTube videos, as those would be archived. And I do have a book of things where if I do die, everyone who has to go through my stuff can have access to that. What would my loved ones say? Well, I was a quiet but gentle soul in life. Always worried about other things. Lots of dreams, lots of ambitions. Maybe needed the right push in many of them to get there. It's helpful. Tried our best to be kind. Yeah. At least I hope that's what people were saying about me. I think we'll meet our quota on this unless we roll a 1. Oh wait, no. Yes, unless we roll a 1. Yeah. Which we did not. We rolled a 6, so we went over quota. Yay! Couple centuries and I met my quota here. Alright. Time for conclusion. You've reached 100% of your quota. You are now ready to answer the final question and move on to your chosen afterlife. Did you ever find meaning in your life? If so, how did you find it? If not, what did you think was missing? I think when finding my meaning, it is a personal journey. There is no way to tell anybody what the meaning of life is, because the meaning of life is a personal journey of oneself. And what meaning I find in my life would be different from someone else. So my meaning I think it was always to be a storyteller. Yeah, to be a storyteller. Even growing up in the moments where social anxiety made me silent to the world, kept me from ever expressing vocally, I always expressed visually, which is where I began being an artist and pursuing those passions forever and always. Is because I still had stories and ideas that I wanted to communicate, creating these fictional experiences that we can still relate to, or that I relate to. And I feel in a way that's very intrinsically human, that I'm crafting a story out of, even now, playing a game about having this story. A lot of things we do as humans kind of make up languages and creations from music, visual arts, performance. It's all been these ways of telling stories that are meaningful to us. I think what brings me into finding this is from wanting to hear the stories of others of my life, from wanting to share my stories and my ideas, and my creations, just as I am here. So as this question is now done, a new soul arrives in front of me, and they are here to take over my role as Death. I give them the same pitch as before. Congratulations, you are dead. And I hand over my scythe. I give them a friendly wave goodbye, and I walk through that door, glowing with radiant light, into my next adventure. I'm being a cat, damn it. And yay! The end. The end. Whew. All right. Game is done. So reflecting time. This can get quite intense. I think I was doing a certain amount of holdback being on stream. There are some things I may not want to get into, which is perfectly okay. Probably if on my own, I would really start writing it out a bit more, and get straight into my feels, but I didn't want to get straight into my feels and talk about certain personal things on camera. And if any friends who know me could probably pick up what those threads were, but yeah, so definitely if you're someone struggling with concepts, it does say even in the beginning with the trigger warning of in the PDF of this game, with discussion of death, of what makes life meaningful, what is your joys, what would you do handling all this. It is an interesting philosophical dive, and of course, if you start feeling your brain taking you into darker threads, to make sure you give yourself a moment to step away and work through it. Could be something you want to, if you are able to access therapy, to bring to therapy as well. If you're finding there's prompts that are triggering an aspect and you need to talk about it, to go to a mental health professional and see what is sitting there for you. I think as my own personal journey through this, No prompts particularly hard for me. Like, we got one a little bit there when I was reconsidering, you know, not a close near death for me, but of someone else, and how that did affect me in turn. And even recently, we've had a recent death in the family. That adds to my jadedness because it wasn't any fault of the family or those related to them. It was someone else made a stupid decision that caused the death of someone. So this can get quite heavy. I know we're used to a lot of the games I played where they're a little more cozy, a little more lighthearted. We're leaving all the dark ones for Halloween. But this gets places. So let me read the last page here. There is a end page, has a trigger warning of discussion of death, the afterlife, the great unknown, mentions of religion are contained in this book. This game is all about death. Your death, to be specific. Your fictional death, that is. In this game, you will play a recently deceased spirit who has taken on the role of the Grim Reaper. Yes, even in the afterlife, you have a job to do. But don't worry, the job ends when you've made peace with your fate. And when you've met your soul quota, don't worry, all the instructions you need are right here in this book, so find a cozy corner of the void to settle down in, grab your scythe, your journal, and your pen. Let's get started. So if you are interested in playing this game for yourself, maybe you want to work through some things, maybe you just enjoy being in this sort of content and themes. If you're alive here on Twitch with me, you do the command code become death, which I'm dropping now in chat. And I'll bring up the link to the itch page directly. And if you're watching this later on YouTube, I will have a link in the description down below. It'll be one of the first links you find there. So once again, this game was Become Death, a solo journaling role-playing game by Avery Fisher. Who we saw in chat with, as well as One Up Podcasts, who is part of all this. So cute. Once again, I kind of discussed the overall and beginning of just the kind of review of looking through the book the first time. I love the minimalistic and the simplicity of it. It's basically just black and white with some bursts of yellow, so very cute. Check out the game. The itch page very much reflects what you'll sort of see in the book. And yeah, lots of feels to reflect on. So let's do a nice cool down. I hope all of you are safe, and if you need a moment to reach out to someone, you know, create plans, talk to a therapist, whatever you need to keep yourselves healthy, of course, please do so. We care about you. We care about you. So make sure you take care of yourself. And yeah, so whatever time zone you are in, day, night, evening, I hope it's a good one as I start clearing the stage here. And if you want more solo tabletop games, I usually play live on a weekly basis with different games all the time. Or you can go on my YouTube where I have a playlist of all the games, which will include this one. So always keep an eye on those places, which is Ghostly Candle, Twitch, and YouTube. So make sure you find me. And if you want to reach out, maybe you are a tabletop designer doing solos and would like me to try your game and want to see it played on stream, feel free to reach out. I am more than happy to include, as I have done for others in the past. And it's always fun. It gives me the fuzzies when people reach out, and I love the fuzzies when others are excited that I'm playing their game. So I love doing that for y'all. So if you want to see your game, just reach out. But solo though. I play solo here Wednesdays, or whenever you're watching this on YouTube. So once again, thank you so much, my darling Fays and Fiends. Look out for the game. Go check it out yourselves. See how you do as the Grim Reaper. And I'll see you all next time. Until then, Bye bye.